Michigan right-to-work law has now made it unlawful to require an employee to become a union member or to pay union dues as a condition of employment. What exactly does this mean for Michigan workers? Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is a labor and employment attorney from Budzell, Robert Boonin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
So it's real recent. This right-to-work law went into effect in Michigan the end of March. Too early, perhaps, to tell exactly how it's all going to pan out and what it does mean for Michigan workers. But it's happened in other states. We have a little bit of an idea. Are we going to see attorneys like you becoming very busy with folks in the legal realms fighting this and maybe being uncertain about legal rights and that type of thing?
Well, many employers, I think, are still trying to figure this out. I think employees are also still trying to figure out what does this mean to them and when does it really apply to them. It doesn't apply to everyone immediately. You know, as of March 28th, the world did not change then. It's something that's going to happen over time as the current contracts expire.
So anybody who is already under a union contract, those are sort of grandfathered in and the change won't occur until they're over.
That's correct. So it could be a year or 2 years or maybe up to 3 years before employees then can get the opportunity to exercise their rights to stop paying union dues or fees as a condition of employment. So as people, I think, get closer to those deadlines, you're going to see people asking, well, how do I notify the employees of their rights? Or the employees will say, how do I notify the employer or the union that I no longer wish to pay dues? And then we'll be battling out whether or not people are doing it right or wrong at that time.
There's already been some legal backlash. Correct opponents of this new legislation, certainly unions filing lawsuits, counter lawsuits against, what's out there?
There's about 5 lawsuits out there right now, both in federal court and in state court, brought by the unions. Some are challenging the process that was used to enact the law. If you recall, it was quite a volatile couple of days in Lansing, and they actually had to lock the doors of the Capitol for a while to keep more people from coming in. There were 2,000 people in there, and they needed to slow that down. And the question is, well, by locking the doors, did that violate the Open Meetings Act, and does that invalidate the whole law? Frankly, I don't think that's going to invalidate the whole law, but it's an argument that's out there pending. Then there are a few substantive challenges that have been made for both the public sector law. There's 2 laws, really. There's one applying to public employees, another applying to private sector employees. And so there are different theories that are being pursued. Those theories have typically not succeeded in other states. There's a couple of unique arguments, perhaps, or one in particular in Michigan. But I don't think that any of these challenges likely will reverse or invalidate the law. The law may have to be tweaked a little bit, but right to work is here.
I was just going to say, sounds like right to work is here to stay. So what do you see that meaning for our state long term as these contracts begin to expire?
I think it's going to vary depending on the nature of the workforce at a particular site of employment and type of employer, type of employees that are at issue. I believe that in some places it's not going to make much change. You know, the status quo is everyone's going to be supporting the union, and they're going to continue that. That's worked in those facilities. Some facilities, though, the employees are more spread out. They're more decentralized. I think in large part that'll happen in educational institutions, and people will opt to stop supporting the union. And I don't think it's going to change the way that employers deal with employees or unions. It's going to change the politics that unions have, the power they have in Lansing.
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see how things pan out over the next several years. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was attorney Robert Boonin from Budzell.